Well, welcome aboard. Today we got a little day sail to do with the newly designed boat for Sailaway 3, designed by Bird Designs, and it's the Partridge. So let's get out of the cabin here and get on board. We're at Peggy's Point, near Peggy's Cove in Nova Scotia. And this is the Partridge. Let's take a look a little bit around it. I got the blue and red paint scheme going. And this is a new boat for me, and I purchased it with 97 bubbles. I don't really understand the bubble thing. I bought this on Steam. You can buy it directly from the developer's website, of course. But Steam has a wonderful way of allowing people to purchase downloadable content. But maybe we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I went to the website and got this Partridge, and really loving it. I can see myself sailing this thing and cruising around quite a bit. You know, I'm more of a cruiser than a racer. You know, it is a lot of fun to get with a bunch of buddies or just join a race, and you learn a lot that way. You learn a lot about sailing. But we want to cruise this morning, so let's walk up here and get our sails on and get going. So we have the hatch here where we store our sails. First, I got to make sure I'm in the right mode. I think I had myself on the free cam. So I'm now on boat, not the free cam. We'll close this up. I want to have good air coming through. And now we should be able to get into the hatch. It's not necessary you open a hatch, but it kind of adds to the immersion. We're going to get ourselves the main sail. We're going to get the N1. I think that's all I want for right now in case we get to use the Jenica. So, yeah, we may end up getting the Jenica. Let's see how we go, depending on wind direction. So, let's take a look at our instrument. We're facing the wind now. We're about 10 degrees to the port of the wind, and we want to head out the opposite direction. I think we're going to use the Jenica, so let's go ahead and get that one out. These submenus take 5 seconds. You can change the settings to let them go quicker, or you can just hit the escape key. I'm having trouble getting the locker open. That's just like real life, isn't it? There we go. Let's get the old Jenica. Okay. We're good to go. Close that up. And what's top sail is already up there. Sorry about that. I wanted you to see me get the top sail, but you know, you just go to the locker and get it out. So we got the top sail is already up. You want to put the top sail up first before you take up the main. So we're going to go ahead and take up the main. And that looks good. So, for some reason, I don't know why, the Partridge isn't showing an anchor. I mean, there's definitely an anchor. If you go take a look from the outward view, you do see an anchor. I thought I saw an anchor. Yeah, there it is. And I thought for sure we can drop the anchor on this ship, but I hadn't figured out how to do it. Maybe you need to be in very shallow water. I'm not sure. It's a beautiful ship if you take a nice look at it. Gorgeous ship. I know I got the American flag flying because I'm American, but I'm in Nova Scotia. These are beautiful area to go ahead and sail and cruise about. There's so much to look at in Nova Scotia. Taking a look at the map, if we were to zoom out, zoom way out so you can see, you got all this waterways close to shore that you can take a look at. The map, this is one of the things I wanted to talk about too. I don't have a lot to talk about. I just wanted to show off the ship and do some sailing this morning. But there seems to be a clunkiness to the simulator. I'm really loving Sailaway 3. I'm finding it, I'm spending a lot of time in it. It's the very kind of thing I've been looking for. But it is a little bit clunky, and I was thinking about why. Why do I say it's clunky? Well, there seems to be the memory lags. So you can see it took a while for the map to come up. And of course, I'm dealing with the fact that I got a video recording going on now, so you know that could be part of it. But look at all of Nova Scotia, and you can go out to Deep Blue for sure and make your way out to the Grand Banks or whatever. But there's plenty of places to explore in this region, as is all over the world. But I thought I would explore this area here because I've been to Peggy's Cove. It's a seafaring town. So let's get ourselves going here. I think I want to turn this way. So we're going to turn to starboard here as the wind catches behind us. One thing about the Peggy's Point, it's got a nice lighthouse. So if when you want to sail back in, and it's we got about 30 some percent fog right now. So I got real life settings going. So it's real time, real weather, real tide, waves, all that stuff. Boy. So let's kind of bring in the main sheet a little. Whoop. One of the things I have struggled with is using the rocker switch on the Xbox controller or your hand controller. I'm pushing down, but if you're not real careful, it's sensitive enough that it starts flipping through as if I'm pushing left and right instead of up and down. So let's do that. Get a little speed going, 3 knots. Get our turn going before we hit ground. There we go. In Peggy's Cove, it's got a lot of the old type of seafaring, buildings and docks and stuff. It's, too bad that isn't depicted in the simulator. But that would take a lot of work, and I'm not sure. I know we can design boats. I'm not sure how much we can put in docks and stuff on our own. But maybe that will be something in the future. But right now, as a sailing simulator, I'm really loving where we're at. Well, I think I'm going to hit ground if I'm not careful here. Well, that's not fun. I ran aground. I'm going to have to cheat, folks, and okay, so I teleported myself off of being stuck on the land there. And let's get sailing. So we're doing about 4 knots, and I don't even have anything up and going yet. But let's check out our mainsail and give it a little bit of breather and see if I can get a little bit more speed. Main sheet, here we go. There we go. Just let it loose a little. When you're going down, this is the funny thing. You know, trimming sails when you're going downwind is not so big of a deal as it is going, tacking into the wind. Just loosen up, and if you're not caring about racing, you just lackadaisically, moving along. Just letting go of the sail and get you going. If you want to spend more time trimming it for the best speed, you can use this thing here. But you can see that green arrow. There's so much force of this sail going forward. It's doing quite the job, but we could mess with this a little. That's just getting dirtier here. Yeah, it's so much force going with the green arrow. I'm not even worried about how clean the air is. It's moving along quite well. But let's put up the Jenica, and we're going to take off like a bullet. Well, maybe not like a bullet, but first thing I want to do is, so we don't have this mast flapping back and forth on us by accident, let's go ahead and put one of our crew on the tiller to maintain the 169, 170. Let's maintain 170 angle of the wind while we go up here and pull up our Jenica. And there she goes. Ah, there you go. Do you need to ease the sheet a little? No worries. Now we're flying. Make my way back and just enjoy the ride. Yeah, so, one of the topics, I didn't have a lot to talk about. I just wanted to go sailing for fun, show off the Partridge, and how nice of a boat this is. It functions beautifully in Sailaway 3. There's no hiccups. I was so disappointed that one of the free boats that you get out of the 2 boats that you get when you purchase Sailaway 3 is the Nordic folk boat. That one does not function. It's a shame. Hopefully it get fixed, and the developer will realize it and get it fixed. It just does not function. But the 38-foot cruiser does, and this Partridge that is a payware functions beautifully. And you can take a look down in the cabin. There is a cabin down there. We'll jump down here in a second. And, you can take a good look down here. Everything is very nicely made. Beautiful boat overall. Let's go ahead and take another look from the flyby view. I changed the paint scheme a little bit. For sure. And we are cruising along quite nicely. We get on board here in the flyby view. The flyby view does not protect you from the water going through the cabin, but it does allow you to drop down in it. Oh, a little bit too much though. Here we go. So yeah, you can you can get down in there a little bit and see what it's like in there. And when you're not sailing, you can go down in and take a look around the whole cabin. But let's go ahead and get back on deck. And I definitely don't want my cabin to be unprotected. I don't want to get swamped. So you don't want water going over the deck and into the cabin. So we'll put that board up. It's a kind of cockpit board to keep from getting swamped. And you can tell we are moving. We're moving quite nicely. Almost 7 knots. You can't balk at that. This thing hauls it when you're going downwind for sure. Very nice. And now I went ahead a little bit to the east so I can sail along shore there. You can see how quickly we moved away from that lighthouse. And in order to do that, the wind's gonna catch me from the back side and flip my mast around. So before we make that change, we're gonna go ahead and we want to go to the main sheet. Oh, come on. Yeah. You know, I do like the way you can use the hand controller to work your way through. But, you know, sometimes that gets a little clunky too, but I'm not sure I fault the design for that. So, before we do this not being attack, but being from the wind coming from behind, we gotta pull ourselves straight so we don't have the boom swing around on us when we make our turn. And of course, before we do, we have to take off our autopilot, and then we can make our jibe. Yeah, now we're kind of heading east. And we didn't actually, I don't think we needed to jibe at all. We're going to get slapped by waves that way though. And let's reset our autopilot to maintain 96 to wind. Go back to the main sheet and ease up on it. I got a lot of healing going on. This may be the point where I take the Jenica down and put up the sails. And I wanted to show you how the boat looks with that anyway. Although we're doing a good clip, doing good speed. So let's take our Jenica down and store it. Okay. Now we can take it down. There we go. Pull that Jenica down. Let's go here and store it away. We want to get N2 and we want to get out N3. So we got everything we need. Okay. N1, let's put that one up first. There it goes. N1 is up. And N1, let's loosen up the sheet some. And then it's N2. N2 doesn't want to go up. Here we go. Let's pull it. He's yanking the wrong way. Okay, N2's up. And now let's go for the red sail, N3. I decided to give a little color to my sails. Just for fun. So we're going at 6 knots. Almost 6 knots. That's pretty good. And we're not heeling quite as bad. May be able to take a look at how the sails are doing. That one looks like it's doing really well. Oh yeah, really well. That one could use some help. So let's go ahead and ease up N2. Yeah. You see that green arrow stretch out? That's more important than, you know, the red and blue stuff. And then where are we? There we go. And 3 looks as if it's going really well. So I think we're good to go, guys. Now, this is what sailing's all about. This is hitting the waves, staying close to shore so we can see it. Get out the binoculars. So that lighthouse is quite nice, especially in the fog. It does blink at night, and probably blinking right now, but not seeing it. So we always know where home port is. So I think you guys want to take a look, don't you? You want to take a look. Before we do, let's go to the main sheet. Main sheet. I think we can ease up on that. Yeah, ease up on the main sheet. Yeah, crazy. There you go. See, a lot of times like this, you don't get if you're racing, you want every little bit you can, but it's still going to over 6 knots. So very, very good. I mean, we're just cruising. We're having a grand time. That's what matters. Enjoying ourselves. We're hitting these waves. They're rolling pretty good out here. Let's take a look on the flyby. Take a look down. It's a beautiful boat. Absolutely gorgeous. When I was doing my paint scheme and turning the white hole into a blue one, the bottom was always red, but I thought I'd throw up a red, one of the sails red. I don't know. I hadn't decided how much I like it. You can see the lighthouse way back there now. We are definitely moving along. Just enjoying every minute of this boat. I'm dipping that main. That, you know, you heel a little bit. That main boom is so large it gets in the water. So that could be a drag. I don't know if the simulator, you know, accounts for that, but I think I'm going to go pull it out of the water even if I lose a little speed, just for practicality's sake. What do you think? So grab a hold of the main sheet, pulling in some. Takes a lot to get it out of the water. Yeah. It's kind of a like a catch-22 type deal here. The more you pull it in and tighten it up, the more it's going to heel and wants to dip it in the water. You know what I mean? So let's take a look at the instrument there. Yeah, I did decrease and get myself a little on. It's still doing 6 knots. Not quite as fast as we were when we loosened it up. So I think we need to let it dip a little bit. For the sake of argument, it's not hurting anything. We are just moving, putting Peggy's Point behind us. So it's a matter of deciding where I want to go from here. Wow, look how far we went. Just a little bit we've been talking. So, you know, do some blue water sailing for a while, and then head into somewhere over here and explore these islands a little bit. There's so much to look at, you know. But just enjoying the life out of this boat. It is a dream. It's fun to do, to handle all the sails. Of course, I got this salt water in the vanes, so I'm managing everything. I also have provisions turned on. The provisions, I notice, the provisions work. After you get in, you save your game or get out of the game and you get back in, the provisions, you know, will go down accordingly. But, you know, I set my cruise size to 3 or 4, and next time I get out and come back in, it goes back to 1. So you have to keep an eye on that if you're doing provisions. It's just so nice. It's so nice and pleasant. I almost don't want to quit. I can turn the UI off. You know, you can do that. Hit the U key and it turns the UI off, and you just sail and enjoy it. Was there other things I wanted to talk about? Yeah, there was. I talked about the memory lag. I talked about, you know, if you're going to buy this boat, you have to go to the website and purchase bubbles and all that. It's unfortunate if you got it from Steam, you can't just go to downloadable content and pick it up, you know, which is what I like to do using PayPal, and it converts the euros into whatever money you're using. But you do have to go and purchase it from the website, but it's no big deal, and it you know, it all works, and it's not hard. The other topic I want to talk about is somebody had mentioned that they purchased a boat and it crashed. It crashes the game. So it wasn't this boat; it was a different boat that they purchased, and I think it's one of those racing boats that a lot of people have. So I don't know that it's a problem. Maybe it's a one-off. But it brings to mind something I've been thinking about, and that is the way the game loads, the way the simulator loads when you. And I have the Steam version, so maybe if with the direct version from the developer works differently, but with the Steam version, when you hit play, it loads right into your previous save, right on the boat. Which is kind of nice. I mean, that feature is nice, but it's a problem because, you know, what if you start building up and you have 2 or 3 boats or 4 or 5 boats, and you want to load up and go into another boat? Well, you have to load through all of the sea and the sky and the current weather and everything having to do with the boat that you last were in, and go through the load time. And then you can go into the menu and change what boat you have. So why not go straight to the boat menu, select the boat you want, and then let it load? Yeah, it's kind of nice to have a resume feature. A lot of games do resume where you were. After you go into a main menu, you can just hit resume, and it's pretty quick. But in the case of this fellow who's got to crash the desktop with the new boat he purchased, what happens now? Because every time he loads, it's possible that every time he loads, he's going to load to the crash. You know, because you don't load to the menu. You load to the boat. So that was just some thoughts I had, and, you know, I wanted to throw it out there. Some thoughts I'm thinking about. But overall, I'm very much enjoying Sailaway 3. You know, the first few hours I was playing with it, I was a little bit disappointed, particularly with the Nordic Folk boat, and then the more time I spent with it, the more I got used to the UI, the user interface, what needed to be done to get the sails up, how to use the auto navigation so I can freely play around, take a look, take camera shots or whatever. You know, and you know yeah, I'm very much a fan of this, and I was with Sailaway, not so much Sailaway 2. I never did get Sailaway 2, so I can't give you an appropriate comment on it. I would never bring myself to get it because of what I was reading about it. But I did like Sailaway 1. It did have its clunkiness. And this one too has its clunkiness as well. But it is certainly, once you get used to what needs to be done, and once you get sailing, you know, I'm not saying you have to do workarounds. I'm just saying that it ends up being very enjoyable, and you know, I'm looking forward to it just getting better. You know, the developers working on things, and he's made, in my mind, a fantastic means for, looking at the sails and seeing visually what kind of forces are at play, and I know, like, I'm looking at this sail and I got dirty here on the leeward side, and I got nice blue, what appears to be nice blue air flowing, a nice flow of air on the windward side of this sail. But really, the biggest and best indicator is the green arrow. That gives you the force that's driving the boat forward. And the red arrow, sometimes I thought that I wanted to get blue flowing on both sides. Well, sometimes that gives you a bigger red arrow, more force to heel the boat over. We don't want that, so let's just play with that for a second. That's N1. So if we go to N1, I have to get the user interface back on. Go to N1 and mess with that sheet. I think what's happening is I'm making the red arrow worse, and now I loosen the sheet, makes the red arrow better. I mean, red arrow shorter. So this is actually, by loosening it, a little bit better. There we go. Now we get a. So you want to get the best green force before your red arrow gets healing too much. So it's and that still gives you a red ribbons going around, or red air going around the leeward side. But that's actually the best trim I can get. So yeah, just kind of this one here, it's all red. It looks like you got terrible, a terrible trim, but actually you got a really good force on the green arrow, and maybe I can do better. So let's try doing that one. That would be N2. And if I loosen up N2, that doesn't help any. If I pull N2 in, yeah, I'm pulling N2 in. Oh yeah, that did it. No, let's go back a little. There we go. And I'm really spending more time looking at the green arrow than I am the red. So don't let the red think red. Don't let the red say red is bad. So really look at the arrows. That's kind of one of the things I've learned. And just for kicks, to take a look, it's just smashingly well. I mean, it's just breaking those waves. Nice looking ocean, beautiful looking ship. The graphics of the waves breaking is nice. The only thing missing is the sea life. I like to see some flying fish. I spend a lot of time, I shouldn't say spend a lot of time, I spend quite a bit, a week or so of my life, I spend enough time out on boats on the sea. Maybe it's only a week or two a year, but enough to know, and I've been doing it for 40, 50 years, so I know what the sea comes alive with life, and it's just one of the things that doesn't often get simulated. It'd be nice to have some dolphin once in a while, not too often. Maybe a breaking whale, but flying fish and stuff like that would be fun, for sure, because it would really add to, let's get that down on the boat, that hey, we're not out here alone. Man, what are we doing? What are we cruising at? 6.2. Yeah, I spent a lot of time trimming those sails, and when you're going downwind like this, or this is like a beam reach. I think the wind's coming right across, so we got a beam reach, and you could trim for an extra tenth of a point, on the knots, but really what we're getting is not that drastic. So if you just want to enjoy sailing and not pay attention to trimming everything out because you're just cruising along, you can tell when you got it pretty close by adjusting sails. But man, it's just beautiful. So this is actual time, weather, tide, waves, everything is real. uh, the way so I didn't change the settings. Quite often I do like to change settings, knock out the fog and a little, but we got 30% fog I think right now, but knock out some of the haze and just look at the beauty of the boat. But this is a nice sail today, so I'm glad you can join me, and hope you enjoy Sailaway 3 as much as I'm enjoying it. It's definitely a good program, for sure. And don't know what else to say other than but it is healing quite nicely. Yeah, one of the things you can do if you don't want the indicator of the arrow up above, you can just look at your flag in the back and you can see it's a beam reach because the flag is flown directly across the beam. Beautiful. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed and we'll catch you next time.